Hey there, friends. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Alpha Nerds 5, the new challengers. I am joined here by Seth, Thunderlip Slykehouse, and I am your humble host, Pedro, Sweet Vienna Sausage Carrasquillo. How you doing today,
Ooh,
buddy?
I like that. Sweet Vienna sausage.
Yeah, I like it because they're, it sounds cool, but really they're just like these tiny little sausages that are in a can. You can buy them cheaply. And I feel like that defines me pretty much to a T. I'm a cheap date.
Yes.
What's going on?
I am doing awful.
I can see that. You
Dude,
look awful. No offense.
I had like this horrific moment last week where I woke up and my right eye was like blood red.
Oh
I
no.
was like, well, I need to go to a professional about this. And they put me on antibiotics,
Mhm.
and it's like a sinus thing going on. Only on the right side of my face, not the left side. Left side of my face is
Oh,
fine. Right side of my
brutal.
face is it, right? And yeah, I don't know what's going on, man, because like my ear is like all messed up on this side. It wouldn't be allergies because you don't get allergies on one side of your body and not the other. It doesn't make any sense, right? So I
Right.
don't know what's going on, but it got better for a few days, and then I started feeling like crap again, and it started getting awful again. They had me on 2,000 milligrams of amoxicillin, and it's
Oh
not doing
wow.
anything. Yeah, I think some sort
Yeah.
of like viral thing. I don't know.
Are you sure you
Don't
don't
have the
have?
COVID though.
But what about the monkeypox?
I might have the monkeypox.
Yeah. You ever notice like all of a sudden there's all these crazy diseases coming around or sicknesses like oh this is gonna get you sick or oh COVID mutated again.
Well, the head of CNN was caught on video saying about how good the pandemic was for them because they would just post the numbers every day and people would tune in every day.
Well yeah,
And he's
nothing
like,
no better to do.
yeah, he's like, pump those numbers up, because the higher numbers, the higher the ratings. It's like, all right, man.
So just caught on
These,
TV just being a general scumbag.
yeah, these absolute scumbags in the media just like scaring the shit out of people. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's nothing like some good fear mongering, just to
Yep.
let you know that you're alive again. Just spread mass panic and misinformation, and just see what happens.
Yep.
Agents of chaos.
It's like the toilet paper shortage thing. There was never a toilet paper shortage.
No,
Like there was, but
yeah, it was
only because people were buying it
yeah,
faster than the trucks could drive. Like our warehouses were full. It was ridiculous.
it was stupid. Like where I had to really. We were hurting for toilet paper because I would go to the store and it'd be all gone. I'm like, what the fuck? Wait. Thank God I had a stash of dude wipes. We were good, but
See, that's what you get for moving away 6 months before pandemic. I
right,
was stocked up, buddy. I was good
I,
to go.
I moved away and the world ended. Who knew?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, because it's weird. You remember, like with Corona, like you would hear rumblings, like, "Oh, this COVID thing's here," and then like it slowly kept creeping towards the United States. I'm like, man, I really hope we close the borders or don't let anyone in, like who's been traveling abroad, like while until this passes. And then somehow magically, I think it was through a cruise ship, something like that it got into the country, and then it
Well,
was that it
they
spread
like
like
did
California towards us.
no, they did like a contact trace, and like we were way too late. We were way behind the ball. They said it got to New York in like November of that year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it just like took off. But dude, I got the first wave of COVID, and it was kind of like a joke. Like I was sick for 10 hours probably. I remember I took it. I was like done. Right, I was out. And I took a nap, and I woke up, and I'm like, oh, I'm 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 good.
See, for me, I got COVID in December of last year, and I was pretty frustrated because work gave me COVID. So
Mm.
this is at the time where I was running my own program, and they were like, "Hey, we need an isolation unit, and you're going to be in charge of running it." I'm like, "Thank you." So you're going to put me and all my people in a COVID hot box. Just give us some COVID,
Hmm.
and then don't be shocked when we all get it. And literally every single one of my staff members got it, and I got it at the very end. I was the last one to get it. I was the last man to be taken by the disease.
The
But I
last
will,
bastion of hope.
yeah, I will say, I wish I had COVID again. I would take some COVID because when it hit me, like I was fine. I just was a little tired, but I beat Fire Emblem, Three Houses. I watched A Bronx Tale, which is like a great movie. Watched The Star Is Born. People kept bringing me food. Like my girlfriend and I had
Nice.
way too much couch sex. Like it was pretty glorious. Like I'm like it was 10 days off where like I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to leave the house, and I really hate leaving the house. So any excuse I can have to just be a hermit and just be home and not leave and deal with like traffic or just people that I don't want to be around outside, I'm gonna take it. So give me all the COVID. Like give me COVID.
Dude, I respect that. See, it was weird for me because we have these floor grates at work, and they're
Mhm.
heavy, but they're not out of like my ability. Right? They're probably 60, 70 pounds. I get some handles on them. I lift them up, and
Yeah.
then you know, it's just for like cleaning purposes. And I remember grabbing this one, and I like yanked on it. I'm like, I can't move this. And I'm like, it must be like jammed in there and stuck. So I used like a lever, and I could see it wasn't stuck. But I was like, I lifted up. And I'm like, I can't move this. What's wrong with me? And I called my buddy down, and we moved it. And I was like, that was weird. And then it all like slowly built up, and then took the test. I was like, ah, crap.
I
Right,
remember
but
when he got COVID.
just like you, I got a solid 2 weeks off, and my work paid me, and
Yeah.
we just kind of hung out, and yeah, that was the week my car got delivered,
Yeah.
so that was weird.
Yeah. Like,
But
oh, my car's here. I can't use
yep.
it. Yeah, dude. I mean, like I said, COVID is as long as it doesn't fuck you up. Because like my girlfriend, like I thought at one point she was like dead because she like slept from like the first day she had it. She slept from the minute we got home till 5 p.m. the next day. So like I had to go upstairs every once in a while, poke her with a stick. Like, are you good? Are you alive? Like like what's going
Yeah,
on here? But yeah, no, I really enjoyed my time with COVID. Sadly enough.
I did not enjoy the way it changed Walmart though.
Yeah,
12-hour WalMarts are bullshit. I'm sick
yeah,
of it.
I miss going being able to go to Walmart at 2 a.m. because you're bored and you can't sleep and buying something that you're not going to really use. Like so you've got two legendary purchases of Walmart. So on our Walmart runs, you and I've seen you buy Super Smash Brothers, which I still don't understand why that happened. I really I to this day I think about it at least once every couple months. I'm like, why did he do that? He hates
It
Smash Brothers.
it haunts you.
Yeah, because it just doesn't make any sense. And then the other time you bought Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age, and I was like, I respect the move, but that's not the move for you, buddy. Like, but you did it, and yeah, just you just I just those are two purchases that are just ingrained into my brain. Those two memories, I just I can't unremember them.
Honestly, I don't know why I bought Smash Brothers either at Walmart that day because
We don't know.
I truly hate Smash Brothers.
I know.
And as far as Final Fantasy 12 goes, I think I just wanted to give it another shot. And it was weird because there's so much revisionist history about 12.
Yeah.
Because, dude, people fucking hated Final Fantasy 12 when
Oh
it
yeah,
first
12
came
was
out.
getting a lot of shade.
Yeah, but now all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh, we love 12. We always love 12. It's always been one of our favorites." I'm like, "This is not
Yeah,
correct.
that's not true.
I remember this." Um, so I wanted to give 12 another shot, and I liked what I played of it. I didn't ever get back and
Yeah. See,
finish it.
here's my thing with 12. Um, I agree. There's a lot of revisionist history. There's a lot of people like, oh, I love it now, and which no, you don't. I think what we're realizing is that maybe 12 wasn't a bad game. Like, wasn't a great game. I don't think it's like an elite Final Fantasy game, but I think it for what it was, and if you give it a chance, I think you can get some enjoyment out of it. And there's some fun things. It reminds me of Star Wars actually a fair amount. Um, and I say that because I don't know if you've ever how far into it you've gotten, but some of the story and the plot twists and some of the characters are fun. I hate Vaughn, of course, but
Yep.
uh, some of the characters are really fun. I like the world. I like the judges. I like the ships. I like how robust some of the areas you go to are. The license system, I'm just not a license guy. I just don't think I'm a Final Fantasy job system guy.
Mm.
Um, because I've noticed that every game that has a job system in it, I don't like. Like I like my characters to be in a set track, and it's weird because you if you know me, like I'm not really like that. I like ambiguity. I like kind of to be able to have options. But when it comes to my role playing games, like I don't want like my male protagonist. He's like, oh, he can be a white mage. Like that's weird to me. That's strange. Like because it just doesn't happen. Or you know, you just get into the weeds, and then like people start doing stupid shit. Like, oh, I'm gonna be a blue mage. Where famously blue mages are terrible.
Hmm.
Um, but I do like Final Fantasy 12 because it is one of the few games where like the main villain is a monk. Like that's his class, is monk.
So I think the reason 12 got a lot of shade back in the day was mostly because it was just different,
Yeah,
and also Van's a terrible
he
protagonist.
is
Maybe
objectively awful.
maybe the worst Final Fantasy protagonist. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, he's up there. He's definitely up there.
Yeah, like
I think he's up there with like I feel like Noctis is giving him a run for his money, but
mm,
yeah, and that hurts me to say because we definitely did our deep dive into Final Fantasy 15, but
yeah,
Noctis as a character, he's in Bond territory.
yeah, I agree.
Or he's in the neighborhood.
But I've been putting in the work on Trails of Cold Steel 4,
Yeah. Okay.
and
Where you at? Progress report.
I I am, I believe, about halfway through the game. I'm in the middle of chapter 2, and there's 3 chapters, I believe. 3 acts. Well,
Yeah.
so there's 3 acts in the finale, which is probably another 30 hours.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm not, but
Buckle in, friend. Buckle
yeah,
in.
the finales of these games drive me insane. I do not like the finale system that they have in the Trails of Cold Steel games, because the final, you think you're going to be able to beat this game today, right?
Yeah. No. 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 No.
You're
Yeah. You got another. You got a while yet.
you're like, oh, I'll hammer out this final dungeon, but no, you won't. The final dungeon's going to take you 3 play sessions,
Yeah.
long ones.
Yeah. I remember in Trails of Cold Steel 2, I thought I had beaten it. They got me with the false ending. They hit me with a false
Mhm.
ending. Like, oh. And then it was another like 40 hours from there, which that one hurt. But we got through
I
it.
actually didn't even beat Trails of Cold
I,
Steel 2.
I know. I remember you told me that.
Yeah,
You're like, no, I'm not doing it.
yeah, I'm not. I refuse, dude, because there's actually no extra plot there. It's just, hey, we're gonna make you do this 40-hour dungeon run after you've completed the whole story, and then we're gonna roll the credits after that. It's like, I'm
See,
not doing that.
See, I think that was it was fan service, but for like us who we never got that arc, that like we Lloyd doesn't mean anything to us.
Oh no, see, I'm not talking about the Lloyd Warp story. I thought that dungeon was cool. I'm talking about the dungeon after that.
Ah, that yeah, okay,
Yeah,
I see what you mean.
there's like a whole extra like
Yeah, it's not necessary. I did it because
season.
I hate myself, but because I
Yeah,
figured you know
so
what we're here, we might as well get the full experience, go get the full Monty into us.
yeah,
So you've been playing Trails of Cold Steel 4. What else have you been playing, buddy?
nothing. Every waking second I have has been diving into Trails of Cold Steel 4. So I've been doing that and watching Game of Thrones when I'm not doing that. Because
Getting ready.
well, Caitlin has never seen Game of Thrones, and it just
God
felt
bless
like
her.
it was the correct time. So
See,
she just saw the red wedding for the first time last night. I was like
oh,
I was like, ah, yes, feel the pain.
do you remember our legendary routines on Sundays for Game of Thrones?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
It was it
we would
was
make banging food. The family would get together,
Yep.
and we'd all be watching Game of Thrones, and there'd be no talking except Chrono because he's a dick. But yeah,
those are the best of times.
oh my god, I remember like literally Sundays were sacred. Sundays were like, listen, I need to clear my schedule for 9 o'clock and be there, and then we're just gonna enjoy this. We did that up till the last season.
Yep. Game of Thrones was a legendary time, and
D-
it's like the last time the world was happy, and the awful finale came out, and the
yeah,
world was never the same. Everyone's like, "Wow, this
yeah.
sucks."
How are you feeling for House of Dragon? What's your read?
It's gonna be terrible. I think.
You think?
Yeah,
I
dude.
just don't think you can recapture the magic. I just don't think you can do that.
No, I don't think it can either, and I feel the same way about the Lord of the Rings show. That's clearly saying
I'm
that
not hearing good
was
things about that.
no. Um, and the thing was, as soon as they ran out of content for the books from the books for Game of Thrones, the show took a nosedive, right?
Yeah,
So
I
now they're
agree.
creating a whole show that is not content from the books. So I think it's gonna be terrible.
Yeah.
That's my
Well,
personal
I'm
opinion.
holding out hope. I'm excited. I'm definitely going to be there. The first. I'm gonna give it the first 5 episodes. The first five episodes don't hook me, then I'm out. So, and I feel like if you can't get your hooks into me within 5 episodes, then we have a problem.
Did you? Speaking of movies and TV, did you see that Batgirl and Supergirl were canceled?
Yes, and I'm not. I mean, I'm okay with it.
Hmm.
I think the Arrowverse just needs to die. Like, just kill it. Kill it.
Well, Batgirl was a movie, I think, and it
Oh.
was complete. Apparently, like they completed it.
Oh, this movie's trash. We're not releasing this.
Yeah, it was $100 million movie. It was completed. They completed filming and
Wow.
everything, and they said it was irredeemable and completely canceled it.
Wow. That bad, huh?
The star, the star speaks out for the first time. Calls herself my own damn hero. Oh, that sucks. Sorry about
Wow.
that.
That's a major L, man. I
Yeah.
mean, not that I'm a big Batwoman guy or is it Batgirl or hell it's called, but um that's a major L. When a movie's irredeemable, like, yo, this movie is trash, get rid of it,
Hmm.
kill it, kill it.
Like we can't take the PR disaster from releasing this.
Yeah, because think about it. They put out this is the same company that put out 2017's Justice League. So
Yeah.
maybe they don't even know what they're talking about. Maybe the movie's like a fucking masterpiece, and they're just like, nope, can't deal with it. But
I just realized they cast another black girl to play as Batgirl, and
mhm.
it was another redhead character. Dude, Hollywood has like this crazy trend of replacing redheads with black girls, and
Yeah,
I don't understand what their beef is with redheads.
they have no souls.
It's like every time there's a redhead, they're like, absolutely
Kill it, kill it, kill it.
not. It's hilarious. I
It's
don't get it.
I don't get it either. That's wild. But here's the thing: like, I feel like DC, they're in that they're in that Square Enix territory, which I fucking find it ironic. Square Enix manages to come up every show, but they they don't know what they're doing. Like, I just feel like they are so inconsistent where you can't trust them to make good movies. Like, where the Batman that just came out last year, or not last year, what the hell am I talking about? This year, um, loved it, fucking loved it. But then this is the same company that like put out Birds of Prey, which objectively is a turd. So it's
Yes.
just like how do we get this mass inconsistency with qualities of movies, and then like that then the universes don't make sense. So is the Snyderverse non-canon? Like, how are these movies connected? Like, not that I guess you need to be the MCU, but some fucking continuity would be nice.
Hmm.
Where there's a Shazam movie and a Black Adam movie coming out in the same year that are not connected in any sort of way. Like
That's absurd.
this Joker movie that came out, which you know how much I love Joker. Like, you know
Yep.
how much I love that movie. Shout out to the Roxy for always playing it for $6 on Tuesday nights. Because dude, that was when I was home. You guys were working. I'm like,
Yep.
$6. I'm in.
Right down the street. Let's go.
Yeah, dude, I've seen Joker in theaters probably 11 times because
Yeah.
like it would play at the Roxy so much.
They're like, wow, this keeps selling. It's just Pedro.
Yeah, just me,
Over and
just
over
me
again.
sitting there just having a blast. But yeah, no, I fucking miss the Roxy, man. Uh, but like I said, DC is so inconsistent that like you can't trust that they're gonna make quality stuff. So like this Black Adam movie, I think looks awesome, but I have a feeling it could be a turd. I like it has a strong chance of turd, and that's
Has there
not good.
ever been a better casting than The Rock as Black Adam?
No,
I'm like, this is perfect. Did
dude,
you
they
hear about
cast
his?
that years ago though.
Yeah, I know. Did you hear about his suit?
No,
His suit originally had like muscle padding in it, like they do for normal superheroes.
he's like, I don't need muscle padding.
Yeah, but I guess he put it on, and it looked ridiculous because
Yeah,
he was already so muscular that they
yeah,
took it out. They just put like
yeah.
a latex suit
He's like, my
on.
muscles are the padding.
Yeah, all
uh,
natural.
and here's my last thing on DC, and then I'll turn it over to you, the comic book guy. But I just feel like they lack direction because if you look at the MCU, like, I've heard arguments about the MCU and Marvel in general that we are getting beat over the head with comic book movies because of them. Like, it's just too much. Where there's movies, there's TV shows, there's the comics. Like, there's all this whole universe for them. But at least their universe is connected. Everything makes sense for the most part. Every story they tell has a purpose, and I just feel like we don't get that with DC, like, at all. Like TV show stuff. The Arrowverse was fun for a little while, but it needs to go. Kill it. But then, like, things like Titans and Swamp Thing and like all the stuff on DC Universe, I thought was really good, and then down it goes. Like, I just don't get what we are doing with DC.
I haven't even seen the last season of Titans. I forgot all
Neither do
about it.
I.
Because season 2 I thought was actually pretty good, and
Yeah,
I never watched season 3. But dude, you're absolutely right though. Like, comic books were something that I cherished my whole life, and then right around the time of Avengers 2, I started being like, this isn't right. Something's wrong, and now it's something that, like, I fucking despise superhero movies now. Like, I really truly hate them, and it's weird saying that because, like, it took something that I was so passionate about, I love so much,
I just
and
killed
turned
it.
it into something I just absolutely can't stand anymore.
Star Wars is
Um,
next, right?
yeah, no, I already feel that brewing in my gut. Um, but the thing with DC, I think that separated them from Marvel is that they wanted to do their own thing, and Marvel was just like, all right, we're gonna take these stories from the comic books and we're gonna adapt them to the big screen. Um, whether they did that well or not is debatable. I think Civil War was an absolute travesty, but they actually they took the stories and adapted them. DC was like, nah, we're just gonna kind of throw these characters in a mishmash and figure it out later, and that didn't really work out. Um, I will say though, like, the idea that DC is making all these independent films that aren't connected anyway is like ridiculous,
It's
and
asinine, completely asinine.
it reeks of someone in corporate that doesn't understand comic books and doesn't understand, like, the nerddom, and is just making decisions based on dollar signs. And
Yeah,
he's like, well, why would they have to be connected? Who cares? That's I can hear that, and it's like,
yeah.
well, okay, well, Black Adam and Shazam both releasing in the same year and not being part of the same universe does, like, it actually makes no sense at all. Like, that's like having a Spider-Man and
Venom.
Venom. Well, I mean, I was gonna say Venom, but like it was pretty clear they weren't in the same universe. They actually alluded to that in the post-credit scene. But it's almost like having a Spider-Man and, like, Mysterio movie,
Hmm.
or Spider-Man and a Doc Ock movie, right? And they're like, no,
Yeah.
these aren't in the same universe. It's
But
really weird. I
this
don't know.
isn't the first time DC's done this, because now, like, so the Joker movie was supposed to be a standalone movie, and like, at the time, I remember when the movie was being developed and announced, like, I don't really think we need this. Like, I'm a little opposed to this. But the movie was so well done, so I'm like, all right, we got a Joker movie. It was great, love it, one of my all-time favorite movies. Why the fuck are we getting a sequel? Because that movie, like, it's not connected to any of the Batmans. It can't be.
How do you feel
And
about it being a musical?
I'll watch it, just, but I reserve my judgment to lose my fucking shit if it's, like, bad. But I just, I don't get what they're doing, because now, so you make that Joker movie, that first Joker standalone movie, then you make a movie called The Batman, which is kind of has a similar aesthetic. I don't granted they're not in the same time period very clearly, but I'm like, how do you now there's two Jokers now? Like, I can't, and it drives me absolutely up a wall. Where now we're gonna have Joaquin Phoenix, who's the Joker, who's the good Joker, like the Joker everyone likes, and then we're gonna have some pleb be the Joker, and alongside the Pattinson Batman. Which, for the record, I didn't think Robert Pattinson was bad as Batman. I didn't mind it. I
I
thought
agree.
he looked good in the cowl. Outside the cowl, like, hard pass, but wearing the cowl, I thought he was fine. I liked the move. Like I think he's got the acting chops to develop that character. So I'm a Pattinson Batman guy, but like I hate lack of continuity. It fucking triggers the shit out of me.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think that um, the Dark Knight Returns and having that Joker was one of the worst things for the whole comic book industry
yeah,
forever.
yeah, because now we all want
Because
that.
because first off, I famously don't like the Dark Knight trilogy or the Nolan trilogy movies. I think they're bad Batman movies. And then we get this Joker, right? And he's
Because
so popular. And I still to this day think he's only that popular because he
Heath
died.
Ledger died. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the only reason I think he's that popular because he's really. I don't see how it stands out, but either way, the Joker blows up in popularity, and for nonstop for 20 years or however long it's been since that movie came out,
yeah,
we've gotten Joker stories nonstop, dude. Every fucking Arkham game has been a Joker story.
hmm
Every year there's a massive Joker arc in the comic books. Every Batman movie that comes out, it's got to have some Joker reference here or there. It's like,
yeah.
get out of here, dude. You know what I actually liked that I thought it was a waste of opportunity? The Suicide Squad Joker.
Oh, Jared Leto.
Yeah, I actually thought that was. I was like, wow, that's actually pretty accurate to the gangster Joker in the books, and they just scrapped it. I'm like, okay, well,
And
whatever.
he did so well as Joker, and they cut him out of that movie so much. And then if you watch the Snyder cut, Jared Leto reprises his role as the Joker, and it was pretty good in that little snippet. But like we'll never get that Joker because Jared Leto's a raging asshole. He's a method actor, so there's that. We can definitely unpack that whenever you want. Also, side note on Jared Leto, do you notice he just dives fucking headfirst into making shitty movies?
Yes, yes,
Like, yeah, because I heard Morbius is fucking brutal.
dude. I think
Brutal.
it. The funniest thing about that is the fact that the internet trolled Sony into re-releasing it in theaters,
I know.
and they were like, "Oh, we were just busy that weekend. Do it again."
Yeah,
Sony said,
yeah, we're just
"Oh
busy,
my
and then it
god."
bombed again. Like, and I actually have it on DVD because you know how Central PA is with these flea markets, and I saw it was there for a undisclosed cheap amount of money, so I purchased this, but I've yet to watch it. Um, but I just feel like with the comic book movies, it sucks now because like I'm too invested in the MCU to not watch what comes out next. Like I need to see what happens next. I saw Doctor Strange. I saw uh the hell other movie that I just see in theaters. I can't remember the last Marvel movie. I just saw see there's too many of shit. Oh, Thor. I saw that and it was basically Thor Ragnarok. Was it Ragnarok? No. What the hell is the other? I can't see. These are fucking melding into my mind. What was the other funny Thor movie? The
There's
first
only
one.
the one. The first Thor movie I didn't think was
No,
funny.
the first one that they were like, oh, we're funny now.
Ragnarok.
Was it Ragnarok? See, I didn't want to. I
Yeah.
don't. Okay, because I get that one and Dark World mixed up all the time. But
Now Dark
uh,
World was the turd.
yeah. So I watched that. You know, I watch it because I liked Ragnarok. I'm like, I'm not, even though I'm not really a Thor guy. I think Thor kind of sucks as a character. Just I listen. I can go in on the MCU because like I think the Hulk sucks. I think Thor sucks. Iron Man sucks. War
Wow.
Machine. I hate War Machine, and as you know, my
Yes.
hatred of Don Cheadle.
The crazy
uh,
thing is, dude, is they so the Hulk has always sucked. I don't
I
care what
hate the
anyone
Hulk. Yeah.
says. There's never been a riveting Hulk storyline in the comics or the movies.
No, people
The
just
cool
want
thing about
World War Hulk. People just want
yeah,
World War Hulk all the time.
the cool thing about the Hulk is that he's just so unbelievably powerful, and when he shows up, you're just like, oh shit, let's go, you know.
Yeah,
And he can blow up at any second. Thor's the same way. There's no good Thor stories, dude. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Thor is just a character. He's a god of thunder. He's Norse. His whole aesthetic's cool. And then, like, I actually think the Chris Hemsworth Thor in the MCU is way more interesting
yeah, I
than
agree.
the comic book iterations of Thor. Thor just is boring.
Yeah, Thor sucks.
And then they take this fucking Jane Foster, right?
Hmm.
And they're like, no, this is Thor now. And I'm sorry, I'll never get over it. It's
Yeah,
his fucking name. You can call her Jane, the God of Thunder. You don't call her fucking Thor. And the creators are upset because everyone keeps calling her Lady Thor. And it's like, Well, the reason we're calling her Lady Thor is to differentiate her from the other character that's literally named Thor. You fucks. There's
Yeah.
two God of Thunder Thors.
See,
It's
that's
like,
because we're making the MC, or we're making Marvel woke. Like they got to be woke now.
well, this is the same thing they did in the comics. Like, no, the thing says whoever wields this hammer holds the power of Thor. And I'm like, yes, the power of Thor. Like, Thor is his name. Thor Odinson is his name. And you take Jane Foster, give her the powers of Thor, and you're like, no, this is Thor.
You
It
can't do
doesn't
that.
work like that. No, you can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. So now to differentiate them, people do call her Lady Thor. I'll call her Lady Thor until I die. I don't care.
Yeah, no,
I don't
I'm
give a
with you.
shit.
I'm with you. And now that we're kind of straying into the risque topics of like comic book fandom and just nerd culture. So I was looking at a breakdown of like superheroes by ethnicity, and stay with me here. So I I look at it, and when I saw what we had to work with, you know, should I have been shocked? No, but I got salty about it anyway. So I broke down superheroes just by I'm gonna give you three ethnicity groups. So white people, right? You
Mhm.
have Captain America, so you got Steve Rogers. I'll give you his Iron Man, even though I hate Iron Man. You get Batman, you get the Flash, and you get um and I'll give you the Hulk. I'll give you the Hulk. So you get five legendary, like top tier. If you rank lists, those are five superheroes that are white guys that are pretty popular. So then we go black people because I thought like maybe they don't get it their due. They get the Green Lantern because the Green Lantern we grew up with is a black guy. They get Falcon, yeah. That now Black Panther that blew up, so that's one. I
Yes.
Luke Cage,
Yes.
and then I was struggling for a fifth. I was struggling for a
Miles
fifth.
Morales.
See, that's where we're gonna get into this because he's technically Hispanic, sir. But
He's okay. Well, he's half black, half Hispanic.
see exactly like now we're getting into the weeds here. So what I did was I gave them Martian Manhunter.
Okay.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong though? So that
Probably not.
so then I go, all right, let's see who Hispanics who do we have? So and this is where the slight happens. So I will give you two superheroes who have always been Hispanic. Blue Beetle,
Okay.
Vibe.
Okay.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Because that's it. Because we get Spider Man, which do you really get Spider Man? We
He's
get we
clearly portrayed as a black person. Everyone forgets he's half Hispanic, but he's clearly
yeah.
portrayed as a black
His last
person.
name's Morales, but and
Yeah.
then so then we get so that's one slight because people are like he's Harlem Spider Man, he's our Spider Man, and even if you play Miles Morales, he even speaks a little Spanish, so I don't understand
Hmm.
how that happens. But so we get Spider Man quote air quotes, and then we get Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes, but the original Ghost Rider is not. That's not who that is. So I'm at four. That's it, and those are like literally B list guys.
You're forgetting the widely beloved America Chavez.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is. See, who?
She's this
Exactly.
character. This character. She should have been the new Doctor Strange movie. Um, her whole thing is that she's gay, and she's powerful. And they made a statement by making this character by calling her America.
Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, and then not to leave out women. Women have it probably better than the Hispanics do because you have Wonder Woman, Batgirl, Supergirl.
Mhm.
They even now you even got like Agent Carter slash Captain England or whatever the hell she is. You have Lady Thor.
Catwoman.
Catwoman. Like they gave women, women's got taken care of. So I'm looking like how do we get slighted this fucking hard over in this sect. So I just thought that was like, not that I want to get into race or anything, but like when I looked at it, I was like, huh. So I'm gonna champion this. Hispanic people, we need our own. We need our own hero. We need a guy. We need a fucking guy. And
I
don't
think
tell me El Diablo from the damn Suicide Squad. He's another B-list guy. Like we need a fucking guy, and it can't be Miles Morales. We need an original guy.
you got Miguel O'Hara,
Who the hell's that?
Spider-Man 2099.
No, you can't. No. Spider Man's Peter Parker. Like,
Thank
like
you.
we need our own guy, and I'm gonna beat that drum until it happens. We need a guy.
I agree. Actually, I agree. Yeah, but they don't want to hear that. I think you got a Wildcat, don't you?
Who the fuck? Who?
Wildcat.
Yeah, Wildcat.
No, that's Ted Grant. That's white. That's super white. he's a he's the person who trained the Black Canary,
Yeah, no idea who that is.
a world class heavyweight boxer. He's not
So
interested
here we go.
in
I'm
you.
on. Granted, this is Wikipedia, so I'm on Wikipedia right now, and we have. I googled Hispanic superheroes. So we go Akrata. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is?
No, no, I don't.
Aquagirl 2. No, nothing for you. Atomica, Azucar, Aztec, El Bagwal, Bane, which that's interesting. Bat Ombre, as in Batman, but that's amazing. Big Words, Black Orchid, Blue Beetle, Bushmaster, El Castigo, aka the Whip, Crackerjack, Kronos, El Diablo, El Dorado. This is rough.
Dude, they've got
Rough.
this. They've got this broken down like on Wikipedia, pretty in an insane way.
Oh, we
They're
got the
calling Cat.
question. The question.
They're calling Catwoman a Latino superhero because she's American and Cuban. Her Cuban side is like, I'm a big Catwoman fan. I've never heard of her being Cuban whatsoever.
Yeah,
Apparently,
it.
it was brought up in Catwoman number 81 in 2000.
Yeah, of
I'm
course it
willing to
was.
bet it died there
Of
because
course it was.
like that. And then we got Kyle Rayner. I didn't know Kyle Rayner was Mexican.
Yeah, like but he's not the Green Lantern. Like he's not the Green Lantern.
Yeah. Kyle
So
Rayner also sucks. He's played. I'm pretty convinced that Kyle Rayner has played a villain more than he's played a hero.
agreed.
As you know.
So Marvel's no better. We got Ajax. Don't know who that is. Agony. El Aguila, aka the Eagle. We got Arana, which is Spider Girl 2, second Spider Girl.
Spider-Girl
Armadillo,
too.
Bantam, Captain Universe, Cheetah, Crusher, Darwin, Defensor, Egg, El Condor, Empath, Feral, Firebird, Gideon, Ghost Rider, which I already mentioned, Helix, High Note, Hummingbird, Huntara, Ink, El Jaguar, Junta, Living Lightning, Machete. That really Machete, really. I'm no, I'm done. Anyway, I'm done. I rest my fucking case.
There you
So
go, American Chavez, right there.
yeah, that's yay. So I can't with that. Like when I just saw Machete, like really, like as much as I love Danny Trejo, really,
Oh
I
yeah, you're
can't.
right, dude.
Dude, it's brutal, fucking
There's
brutal.
like there's like not a single one that's like a standout for the
No,
Hispanics.
yeah, it's brutal, fucking brutal.
How do
So
you feel about, as a person that comes from this culture? How do you feel about the term Latinx
what? I haven't even heard that term. What the hell does that mean?
instead of being Latino or Latina? It's Latinx because they don't want to gender the name.
Oh, Jesus, that sounds like a condom. Hey, get the Latinx. We don't want. We need some
This is like
protection
a huge
here.
controversy. This is like a huge controversy because they said it sounds like a slur in their
It
language.
does sound like a slur. I don't like it. Fucking Latinx? What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, so you can't
Wow.
say Latinos anymore, and this is like widely unpopular in actual Latino countries, right? But
Hmm.
like the American like far left liberals are like, no, 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 this is what we're calling you from now on.
Yeah. Well, maybe somebody can go.
Colonialism at its finest.
Right, fucking colonizers, I'll tell you. But I'm like, like maybe someone will be offended for me later down the road. Who knows? But moving on, because I feel like we are getting way into the weeds there. But uh, so I haven't had a ton of time in the game, so I played a little bit of more Live Alive. I was playing more of the ninja section, which I really loved. Still really recommend that game. So I dabbled in that a little bit. And then that's really about as much time in the game as I've had. We did some traveling over the weekend. I was at a beer fest in Schuylkill County, which you'll appreciate this
Sounds
about
lovely.
Pennsylvania. So I used to think Schuylkill County was just like, whatever, it's the coal region, more coal region, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is where everyone who's a hippie is in Schuylkill County. Like that is the hippie capital of Pennsylvania. And then we were specifically in Pottsville, which
Oh
I
yeah.
think somebody, when they named that, was being funny because people were just high as fuck everywhere. But so at this beer fest, though, there was also a pro wrestling ring in the middle of the street. So
Oh wow.
I'm crushing beers, eating some good Coal Region food. Like I had some pizza that was to die for, and then watching a guy get body slammed in the middle of the road in a wrestling ring. I'm like, this is why I love America. This is great. So
Yes.
we did that. So then the next day we went to the Philly Zoo, which I was bitching about the hours of the Philly Zoo. So the Philly Zoo is open from 9 to 5, like
Yes,
9
I've
a.m.
experienced this
Yeah.
before.
And I'm like, what the fuck weird hours are those? And then we drive to like the section of Philly that the zoo's. I'm like, oh, okay, I wouldn't want to be here past 5 either. All right, fair. Oh,
Dude, it's so crazy, dude. Because I was just at Philly Zoo with Caitlin a few months ago, maybe January, which I guess is half a year ago, not a few months ago. But we go down there, and I'm telling she'd never been to Philly before. I'm like, listen,
I like Philly, but yeah, it's got some rough
it's a
parts.
shithole.
Yeah.
Philly's a shithole. And we get there, and I'm just driving around, and I'm like, God, what happened to the city? This is like the most historic American city of all time, right? And it's just a dump. And there's trash everywhere, and I'm looking up, and there's this giant fight between the citizens of Philly and the government because they don't want to pay for trash companies.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, what is going on here? It's like this landmark city in America is just decaying. But yeah, you go to the Philly Zoo, and I expected like to be blown away. It was fine. I thought the
Yeah,
Philly
that's
Zoo
what I said.
was fine.
I was, yeah, that's how I thought the Philly Zoo was fine. I enjoyed it. We went to the Bronx Zoo before we went to the Philly Zoo, and the Bronx Zoo is top notch. That's top tier zoo
Oh,
visiting.
mm-hmm.
The Bronx Zoo has a wonderful beer garden. So
Oh,
yeah, I was sitting there sipping a Stella Artois and listening to, I think rhinos were having sex. I'm pretty sure that's what I listened to. But like it was pretty glorious. But Philly, because now that I work in that area, I'm noticing. So there's parts of Philly that are complete dumps, and that part where that zoo is a dump. But then Center City's nice, Point Breeze, Fishtown, like these are, you got to go to the more affluent areas of the city in order to not feel like you're gonna get stabbed. So,
mm-hmm.
and South Philly's okay, but yeah, Philly's its own fucking world. That is a whole different world down there, and it's wild because like I used to believe, not believe, but I used to like scoff at people who are like, "Oh, Pennsylvania is just Philly, Pittsburgh, and Alabama in the middle." I'm like, "No, that's not true. It's true. It's so true." Because like in Philly, you'll go and see the news, and if you remember, not that I want to get political or anything, but like in our state, there was those stories where that girl was driving drunk and killed those troopers.
Oh,
Did you hear
yeah,
this?
like it's on the highway or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
They
Like
jumped out. Yeah.
they had her pulled over, then they had to go respond to another call about somebody walking down the not the hallway, the highway. So they're like, "Oh shit, that's an emergency. See ya." And then this girl got back behind the wheel, and then drove drunk and actually ended up killing those officers. She hit them.
Oh
Like,
wow.
yeah. So they dropped the murder charges in Philly, and I'm just like, whoa. Like, I don't understand how. She's still gonna do some jail time, but one of the murder
Right.
charges got dropped, and everyone's sitting there like shocked. Like I'm sitting there stunned, and then like one of somebody at work would come by like, oh, dude, that happens in Philly all the time. No one ever goes to jail. No one's ever in trouble here. Uh,
Oh my god.
yeah, so it's just like, or on 4th of July, they're having a party and then somebody started shooting at the police. Like it's just fucked. That is
Jesus.
completely fucking wild west down there. And then you have Central PA where everyone's like, oh, values and you know conservatism, yay. And then you have Pittsburgh, which is just like Philly. So it's really like it's like an Oreo where you just have liberals in the major cities and then conservatives right in the middle, and it's terrible.
Here's the thing
What a
though, like I
what a
love
state we live
Pittsburgh.
in. I like
I
Pittsburgh too. It's
actually,
a fun city.
dude,
Fun city.
Pittsburgh is like
Don't go to the North Shore though.
not a huge city. It's like when I was driving through Pittsburgh, I was like, oh, this feels like Williamsport, and I was like, okay, I can vibe with this.
You
They have
just
a
broke
great
somebody.
museum. What?
You probably just broke somebody hearing that.
Yeah, like what? No, but it's true. Pittsburgh has a small city feel. It's got a great museum, and
Good
I
food.
really enjoyed my time in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, Pittsburgh's a good time. But last note before we move on, I say we go to Philly Comic Con because we're never going to go to San Diego or New York because fuck that, and
right.
we just protest about lack of Hispanic superheroes. That's the protest. We
I'm
need to bring
down.
we need to bring awareness to this.
I'll be down, and I'll be like, and I'm here for him.
Yeah, see, like we're woke. You're offended for me. So, all right, moving into the meat and potatoes. So, you remember last show how we were talking about Mr. Tommy Tallarico?
Yeah.
So our boy's back.
Oh my
Our,
god, I love it. Let's
our
go.
boy is back. He is now like the consummate villain of the retro gaming community. So Tommy Tallarico is now in a beef with Roblox.
Roblox?
Yeah, like I guess Roblox is like a kind of like Dreams, kind of like Minecraft, like where it's like a free to play engine where you can craft
Right.
games and stuff. So I guess there's a squabble over a specific sound effect where I guess it's a popular sound effect, the oof sound from Roblox.
Oh my
And
god.
Tommy Tallarico is claiming that his company created this sound bit and is now demanding money and is threatening to sue Roblox to have them take this sound effect out of their game.
Okay, so this guy's like broke and he's trying to find money no matter what.
Dude, I don't know what his deal is, but also I found out he's got a world record, a Guinness World Record for most games worked on, but that's because like the way his company works is like if they contract anybody who works under him, his company gets credited for that. Like so
Mm.
they get all these like stupid credits for like a guy who does a sound bit for a random game he had nothing to do with. He gets the credit. Oh well, my company owned this, so yeah, I worked on that. So it's like, and I heard, granted, I don't know the validity of this rumor. It came from Pat the NES Punk, but that he bought that world record, like he like paid for it.
You buy like all your Guinness Book of World Records like a giant sham. People don't realize
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So, what are your thoughts when you hear this?
He, like I said, he sounds like someone that had their heyday. They are now broke, and they're trying to find a way to make more money based on their previous success. Reminds me a lot of like fighters coming back in the ring after they're
Yeah,
gone for 10 years. Yeah. Also, Tommy Tallarico got a punchable face. Meet me in the ring.
yeah, yeah,
They call him out.
yeah.
Meet me in the
We
ring.
get him some TRT, meet him in the ring.
We'll box. I'm ready.
So, I just think it's fascinating that this guy is turning into this like villain in in
Mm-hmm.
gaming, specifically retro gaming, because it's not modern gaming. Because I don't think any modern gamer really gives a flying fuck or knows who Tommy Tallarico is. But if you're in the know of the collecting scene or the retro scene, again, which we famously described as the underbelly of gaming, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know who this man is, and it's a little concerning. Where like this guy's a snake. Like this guy just seems to be, like you said, just reaching for money and just kind of trying to get everything and extract everything he can out of the business, and it's a little it's just concerning. Like I always loved video games as a hobby that, like, it's fun and you get memories, and sometimes video games teach you things, and I think it's a beautiful art form. But when you have fucking slime balls like this, like it just ruins the hobby. Like it's like ugh.
Yeah, it sounds to me like he doesn't have he spent his time in the gaming industry, and now he's an older guy. Looking back, he probably realizes he has no legacy in gaming. No one remembers Tommy Tallarico. No one knows this guy, and by doing this, he's like cementing his legacy in one way
As
or
an
another.
asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like to me. He's a Tywin Lannister type.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I'm more of a see. I think I don't know if I would go Tywin Lannister for him because Tywin at least like would make moves that like yeah you hated but would make sense. I think he's a Stannis Baratheon
Oh, that's
level.
actually better. Yes.
Yeah. So like where you just like you're a fucking dick. Like
Yes.
so yeah. It's wild because here's the other thing I've noticed. Like these guys are a lot of these guys who turn into like these villains in gaming kind of but specifically guys like him are from that weird fucking era of games from like 90 to like 95 where if you I don't know if you specifically remember but games went through like a weird transition so we went from 8-bit to 16-bit and then we went through like I think the transition to 32-bit wasn't as like easy as people thought because remember that's when companies like Atari were still in it. Panasonic made the 3DO. Uh, FMV games were like a thing. So like those full motion video games, and I think like consoles like the Sega CD were still around. Like the uh, and that's when I feel like Tommy Tallarico specifically and guys like even like Victor Lucas or certain guys like that, like that's when they got into that into the gaming scene, or even guys who come from the PC gaming space. Like if you remember, the team from Doom, uh, John Carmack and or is it yeah John Carmack and I can't remember the other guy. His last name's Romero. I can't remember his first name, but like those all those guys from that weird mid to early '90s era of gaming all tend to be on the same track where like they're like struggling to stay relevant and have legacies.
Well, it's probably, if I can play devil's advocate for them, it's probably hard because they see how much bigger gaming is today than it was back then, and they're probably like, "Hey, wait, hold on a minute. I was here at the ground level. I deserve some recognition." And it's like, well, yeah, you probably do, but also, if you deserved it, you would have gotten it. Like,
Yeah.
people remember like Cliffy B, you know,
Hmm.
because Cliffy B was actually influential. He's an asshole, but he
Yes.
actually made like Gears of War,
Or even
So
like David Jaffe.
yeah, or David Jaffe. Like these guys actually did make it have an influence in the industry. If
Yeah.
Tommy Tallarico wasn't in the industry, no one would know.
Right.
Someone else would have been like pulling out guitar riffs. He's not that important.
No. So like I said, I just think it's really weird. These guys, like I said, are just from that era of gaming, and I just think that specifically that era of gaming is very strange, and I don't think really anything good came out of it. Because like, do you ever see any top 10 3DO game lists on fucking Watch Mojo? No. Do you ever like you know what I mean? Like this some of these like weird ass fucking things that came from gaming. Because I even feel like PC gaming back then, granted it was in its infancy for sure, but then like PC gaming was in a weird state where they made all these weird ass fucking FMV type games, and Myst was a thing, which I don't understand how people think that's a good game. I tried Myst one time and I wanted to fucking hit myself in the head with a brick. Um, but then, like, it was, I tell you, it's a weird era because then after that, we got Fire. We had N64, PS1, even Saturn had some decent shit. PC gaming went through not, we didn't say a renaissance, but PC gaming, I feel like, started to hit its stride where you started getting, like, Star Wars Dark Forces. You started getting, like, these System Shock and Deus Ex and Thief and like even the Elder Scrolls was starting to kind of mold itself, and Fallout.
Mhm.
So like it was just weird. Like you hit this weird fucking bleh, and then like the industry gets figured out. So the reason I'm segueing, like we're segueing off Tommy Tallarica. I just wanted to bring that up because now we're just going to continue to check in on our boy,
Yeah,
check
please
in
do.
on our, yeah, just to see what act of villainy he's doing this week. But I bring up that era of gaming, and as I just said, it's a strange era. But do you feel like there have been any other strange, just weird eras of gaming in our lifetime, sir?
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. I mean, the gaming industry is still in its like young adolescence, right? So
Yeah,
like, there's gonna be like, I feel like there's a weird thing that's going on every other month. I mean, think about like Sony in 2006 just refusing to back down on the price of the PS3 and getting absolutely clobbered by their
yeah,
competition.
they got their dicks kicked in for that.
And then Microsoft in 2013 doing the same exact thing and getting clobbered.
Yeah.
And now it's like they both kind of figured it out. Um, but I think the weirdest era in gaming for me, and this might be a surprise, because I was actually just thinking about this when you were talking, and I apologize if I'm not coming through clearly. I'm getting really congested in my sinuses. The PS2 era, which
Mm.
is like a legendary era for me, or for everyone, might be my least favorite era that I've lived through in gaming.
Mm. Okay,
Because
I'm staying with you.
when I think back on PS2 games, there is, I think, zero like games that have formed me as a person
Mm.
in my gaming tastes. I played the Grand Theft Auto games a lot on PS2.
Yeah.
I played Kingdom Hearts a lot on PS2, and I don't know that I can name a single other game that I played and it like really stuck with me throughout the years on PS2. I just there was nothing there for me, and it's weird because I got into games because I loved JRPGs, and the PS1 was just an absolute feast of great JRPGs. Right? You get to
Uh-huh.
the PS2, and then all of a sudden that well just dries right up. There's nothing on PS2 for some reason,
Okay.
and it's like there's a couple, right? Like you get like Dark Cloud, but it's not really the experience I was looking for.
All right.
Um, there's like apparently Shadow Hearts. I never played Shadow
I
Hearts.
never played it either, but it hurts really good.
And then SMT was there, but
Uh-huh.
SMT was not a big franchise back then.
No.
No one knew about SMT. And also, I think the PS2 games way overrated. I don't think Nocturne's a good game. But
You're hurting me here. You're hurting me here.
I know I'm hurting people with that statement, but I was like, man, I really could use. I really want to dive into the backlog and play an RPG after Trails of Cold Steel 4. And I'm thinking like, do I go to Nocturne? And I'm like, no, Nocturne sucks. Let's do it on a different
All right. So let's unpack. Well, before we unpack what you said, do you have any more else to add, sir?
I think the PS2 generation I think is weird because that is when gaming really took off. It started really accelerating down the path of mainstream because the PS2 was the cheapest affordable DVD
Yeah.
player. And there was one in like every home, and then after that, the gaming industry never slowed down; it just kept getting faster and faster. Which people
Okay.
realized, like, okay, these are pretty cool.
All right. Yeah. Now, see, I am definitely on the opposite side of that fence with you because PS2 for me is when I fell out of love with Square. So after when I first played Final Fantasy X, like now I've definitely changed my tune on it because I think I'm a little bit older. I can understand the themes of like racism, religion, like the things they were trying to tell me when I was like 12 years old. I was having none of, and then then playing Final Fantasy 12, like I didn't like it. I played the bouncer, didn't like that. Uh, so Square Enix, I didn't really even like Kingdom Hearts when it came out. I'm like, it's a kiddie game, it sucks.
I don't like the
So
first one, but the second one.
so me, like I fell out of love with Square, so I was in the hunt for new RPGs. So that's when I discovered Suikoden. That's when I discovered Shin Megami Tensei. My first Shin Megami Tensei game, excuse me, my first Shin Megami Tensei game was Digital Devil Saga, and I fucking loved that game. Where I'm like, oh, demons and fucking the banging soundtrack, and I thought the story was really good, and then then I got the sequel. Then I had the Raito games, and then I got my fucking teeth knocked out with Nocturne. Uh, and then so I had that series. Then I discovered Grandia. Like Grandia 3 is one of my favorite fucking RPGs I have ever played, and just the battle system, the graphics, the story was fucking top tier. So I discovered that. I discovered Dot Hack, where the Dot Hack, the mutation or infection, mutation, outbreak, and quarantine. Like I discovered that series of RPGs, and then the Dot Hack GU games after that. So I got into that. I dabbled a little bit in Xenosaga. I had the first one, really liked it, never finished it, but enjoyed my time with it. Star Ocean, Till the End of Time, that was a great game. It's probably the second best Star Ocean game. Trying to think of other games that I got into. Brave Fencer Musashi was a game I played. It was an action game. It was a sequel to the
All right,
PS1 version.
all right. So I gotta interject here
Yeah.
because I I secede. I am now realizing that it wasn't the fact that there was no RPGs. It was that I was just a dumb fuck. Now I'm realizing as you're listing these off, I'm like, no, he's right. There was a lot of really good RPGs on PS2. I was just being a dumb fuck, and didn't play any of them for some reason
Because
at the
you
time.
had to get your mouth off the nipple that was square. Like it was time to stop being breastfed, and you had to get out
Well,
and explore.
I don't know that it was that because I definitely played like Star Ocean a little bit and Grandia, but I'm trying to think. There was something weird with the Grandia PS2 port. It was like super rare or something like that, wasn't it? Like the
So that you're
Grandia.
thinking of Grandia 2. I
Yeah,
think there was a Grandia Extreme. What's one of them that's super fucking rare?
I think it's Grandia 2 on PS2. It's like extremely hard to get, and I
It's funny,
did
like
get
that's not
that.
even a good port.
Yeah, it was like super low print or something like that. I played a little bit of Grandia 2 and 3. I played a bit of Ark the Lad,
Yeah, I
but
heard that game's good.
I think for some reason I just these games weren't around to me. I don't know. I don't know how I missed all these games, but you're absolutely right. I just for some reason didn't play them. It's not that they
Yeah,
weren't there; it's just I didn't play them.
see, that's for me. Like that's well, the reason I discovered these games was it wasn't even like I didn't have it. Like we had internet, but like I wasn't like surfing the internet or anything like that, or even watching gaming TV. Like that wasn't even a thing. I would just, um, I would go to. It was this is before GameStop took over. So the store I used to go to when I was living in Yonkers, New York, was called Software Etc. Like software etc. I think that was called it. And I would go in and they just had this wall of JRPGs, and I'd go, what's this? What's that? What's like? It was just like a land of discovery. So I was like trading in games and getting new games and just finding new RPGs and like it was one of my favorite eras in gaming because even out of the JRPGs, I was discovering just franchises I really like. So like one of my favorite PS2 games is The Getaway. Love it. Um, I fucking love that game. Like I wasn't a GTA guy. I didn't really like GTA just because I thought it was too like I like GTA 3, but then I thought the games got like way too over the top and like all right. But the Getaway I really liked, and it famously has licensed cars, so you can like drive a fucking Skyline in the Getaway. The first God of War I played, Devil May Cry, Metal Gear. I'm trying to think what else. There was definitely fighting games. We took a bit of an L there, but even shooters were really good. One of my favorite shooters on PS2 were the Time Splitters games, where it was made by the same team that did GoldenEye,
Mhm.
like those same guys. So like I'd play those co-op shooters. I played one of my favorite shooters on the system is called Dark Watch. I really enjoyed that. So like for me, PS2, like I felt like there was always something. Oh, the fucking Legacy of Kain games are there.
I've
Like,
always wanted to dive into that series, and I never was
dude, you
able
got it.
to.
Got it. We got to bite the bullet and get in there. But it's a. I mean, it's Amy Hennig's best work.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so PS2, like it's one of my favorite eras, and we could even lump Xbox in there because that also when I got an Xbox, boy, we got the KOTOR, we had Jade Empire, we had Fable, Deus Ex, we had some fucking legit stuff on Xbox.
dude. Well, so I'm gonna rewind a little bit and bring up a franchise that you talked about, and just examine for a second. Devil May Cry.
Yeah,
I don't know that a series has ever been fumbled like Devil May Cry has been with Capcom.
yeah,
Dude, they had such a gem, and for years they absolutely fumbled it, dude. Yeah, Devil May Cry 1, which was widely beloved, right?
yeah, loved it.
And they're like, we're gonna make a sequel to it,
People hated that
and
sequel.
we're going to make it like very final, where the main character dies at the end, right?
Yep.
So then Devil May Cry 3 is a prequel. Devil May Cry 4 is a prequel, and I think 3 and 4 are fantastic games.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you know what this series needs? A reboot.
Reboot.
It's like we're gonna make Dante one of the coolest, most beloved protagonists in gaming at the time. We're gonna make him this edgy, hipster type teen. We're gonna get rid of his silver hair, and we're gonna laugh at the fans who did it. And you know what? That game was widely hated. Does it play good? Yes, but you can't just treat your fan base like shit. Like there is a specific middle finger to the fan base
Yeah, when he
when
fucking
the
when the
silver
wig lands
wig,
on him.
and he's like, not a chance, and throws it away. It's a Luke Skywalker moment, and that I mean, like you reap what you sow, right?
Yeah.
And then they come back with the fucking banger of the century in Devil May Cry 5. That what was that? 2 years ago it came out.
Yeah, I never played it.
One of the greatest action games of all time, hands down. Um, and I just don't understand how you have 1, 3, and 4, right? And then you're just like, let's fuck this franchise up for a decade.
Yeah,
But
that's when Capcom. We almost lost Capcom. I thought we were gonna lose our. I thought we were gonna lose one of our babies. You know, where we were. They weren't doing too good. They were not doing
yeah.
well. So I'm gonna present to you my my actual weirdest era of gaming. So I feel the PS3 era, that 360, Wii, DS, PSP slash Vita era was, I think, the weirdest era in gaming for me because that's when single player games like fucking died. Like single player games to me like were just like you weren't getting good campaigns. You know, Um, JRPGs were basically like hit or miss where you weren't really getting the banger releases like you were on PS2, and I just feel like aside from a couple games that even though like I know they're good, I haven't even played them myself because they just weren't on my radar. So I
Mhm.
feel like I was having to just like dig in the dirt to find good shit. Like so that's what led me to discover like Dragon's Dogma uh, as one of my favorite like kind of Western style RPGs. I played a game called Eternal Sonata that was really good. But then we had like weird shit like Residents of Fate, which I don't think is a very good game, but people tend to love it because it's from Tri-Ace. I think I'm trying to think what else. Like that was when Sony was still rounding out like or starting to build their reputation as like an exclusive powerhouse. Where like Infamous was born, but then we had a couple like Infamous, Uncharted, and Resistance and Killzone were like the pillars, but you know, it was still so new, and I just felt like we were just struggling to get good stuff because like for every Uncharted we also had Lair and Haze and like just some fat fucking L's, but um yeah, like so for PS3 was weird, and 360 I felt like it was all just cover based shooters. Um, like Halo was still, Halo was still in its stride, but the quality was starting to go down. 'Cause that was when we were getting like ODST, which is a great game by the way, but then like Reach, which is also a decent game, but we're starting to go down, and that's when 343 took over. And like I said, Gears, and then that was really it. Like you didn't really get 360 exclusives like that were top tier. And then like on the Wii, like Nintendo straight abandoned their console division and started like they would put out bangers on the handheld. Like yo, you're getting a Zelda, Pokemon. You're getting all this good shit, and then on their main console is just like a bunch of bullshit, like Metroid Prime 3, Twilight Princess. Like we got some good stuff, but they kind of essentially were giving us the middle finger. And then on PSP, they were doing all sorts of just experimental shit where like the Persona games came back. We got a third Parasite Eve game. We had a Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII game. We had Valkyrie Profile. We got a Star Ocean game, like Kingdom Hearts. Uh, just it just for some reason on that little machine, Sony was just, hey, get in there, give us whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so it was just a strange time in gaming because like I felt like the industry didn't really know where like the money was, like where we went from single player experiences, couch co-op, RPGs to multiplayer. Everything was like needed to have a multiplayer component. Like if you remember, like that's when Sony was trying to push Mag, which that game was terrible, or Warhawk, also terrible, or SOCOM Confrontation, also terrible. Like it seemed like Sony was just trying to be on par with Microsoft because Microsoft had Xbox Live and Gears and Halo, and I just felt like Sony was trying so hard to have a competitor, which they still don't to this day. Like they still don't have that pillar of like, oh, this is our multiplayer. This is where our guys get in on our console, like our exclusive go to. Like, ah, oh, don't you wish you had this? Because like
They
now we all play.
could.
They could, but they don't.
They abandoned them. Resistance and Killzone were great,
Agreed.
and they were like, no, no, assholes.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, it's hard for me because I agree with you. It's a weird generation, but it's the generation where I switched from being just like a fan of video games to being really entrenched in the community.
Okay.
So for me, it's like very beloved, right? And there is some of my favorite years in that generation, um, specifically with like podcasting, you know.
Okay.
Um, but you're right with Nintendo, especially. That's the one thing you said where I'm like, oh, that gave me flashbacks, like PTSD, right? Because I worked at GameStop at the time,
Hmm.
and there was nothing but trash
Yeah.
right there, trash. And I mean, like, there's games on that console that sold. I bet you thousands, like not like tens of thousands, like thousands.
Yeah.
And I would work at GameStop, and the walls are just like lined with Nintendo crap. We gave up on trying to advertise it
Yeah.
because 4 year olds would walk in, rip the games off the shelves, and then they would we'd put them back and we'd advertise them. It takes forever because there's thousands of games, right? And the next 4 year olds come and rip them all off. So we gave up because no one cared. No one was buying these games. Um, but then like the PS3 has, God, man, I think you might be right now because like the PS3 took a beating, and then it came back with a few really good games. But there's games that like I don't really vibe with.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, it was a tough era of gaming because like again, it's kind of like it was kind of like similar. It was weird. Similar to my experience with the PS2, where you had to kind of step back from certain companies and like, oh, I got to see what's out there now because these guys are fucking. They're instead of screwing the pooch, they're just kind of shoot. They're like shooting the pooch in the head and stomping it, and like I don't know what's going on. So like, I'll give you an example. I would have
I
never.
agree with you on. I agree with
Got
you on Residence of Fate, by the way.
Yeah, the game's bad game.
Yeah,
But
I
I
agree.
would have never discovered a game like Eternal Sonata, or I would have never discovered a game like even though people think this is a bad game, I like it. Like Dark Sector is like one of my favorite bad games of all time, just because a lot of fun there, a lot of fun to be had. But I would have never dabbled in certain games had companies like had Capcom not been bad, because like that was at that time where you couldn't trust Capcom to make anything good,
Mhm.
and you couldn't trust you could like Sony was in a weird spot, uh, and like the PSN was just ugh, and like there was a lot of negatives there, and like you said, Nintendo was just like fucking killing their fans. Where like again, if you had a DS, you were great, but if you were specifically a console gamer like the Wii, you had nothing. So even on Wii, you had to be digging in the dirt. Like I would have never tried a Fire Emblem game had I not had to, because like Nintendo wasn't putting out anything I wanted. I'm like, oh well, Fire Emblem, I've never heard of this. Let me try this, and thankfully, I ended up loving it. But you had to discover games. Or I would have never played a game like White Knight Chronicles, or I would have never played a game like even Nier, like the first Nier I played a little bit of,
Okay,
but
so let's step back for a second. What's your take on White Knight Chronicles?
it's okay. I think it's fun.
I thought the game sucked.
But did you have any other options? Not really.
No, dude. It's funny because I said that PS2 was a barren wasteland for JRPGs, and I was completely wrong. But I really think the barren wasteland was for at PS3.
PS3, yeah,
Yeah, because I
terrible.
was just thinking, I was just looking up. I'm like, when did Trails of Cold Steel come out? Did we just bypass this, or like, did
It
it
was a late,
really
it was
come
late
out as late as I
generation.
thought? Yeah, it came out in 2013. The game looks like a PS2 game. What were they doing?
Yeah,
You know,
I don't know.
ah,
But yeah, but like that Trails of Cold Steel would have never been on our radar. Like I just feel like
mm-mm.
we missed that. The only I remember the only reason that I bought that game is the shiny. I'm like, oh, what's this? And but like again, like I just felt like PS3 was just like you said, a barren
Yeah. What
wasteland for
year? What year did we play that? Because
like
we ran,
20.
I randomly already had it because I heard it was really good,
Yeah,
and then I think
I went
you
and
already
bought
had
it.
it on PS3. You had it on
Yeah,
PS3 as well, right?
yep, because it was
And
dirt
then
cheap. Like it was being clearanced out.
did you beat it on PS3 or did you play it on
I beat the
PS4?
first one. I beat the first one on PS3. And
Uh-huh.
then I made the jump to PS4 when I realized they were coming out on PS4. I'm like, oh, I'll just wait.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. So
we were living together when we first started playing Cold Steel.
yeah, that's how long this fucking journey's been. It's funny because I Steam asked me to review Cold Steel 4, and I was like, I've put 400 hours of my life into this game, and I still don't know what's going on. I love it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, but where we did eat well though was with the Tales series, and I know you're not a fan of Zillia, but I think Zillia was a reawakening for the series, and then they spoiled it. They were like, "Oh, you guys like Tales? Here's one every year."
yeah. Because here's what's interesting about the PS3. Because I agree with you. I feel like Tails definitely hit a peak there. Because if you remember, that's when we got Tales of Graces F, which I
Mm-hmm.
used to have. I have a feeling that game's gonna go rare, which kind of scares me. Um, and
That
then
is my least favorite Tales game, by the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I never played it, but I've heard nothing but good things about that one. We got both Tales of Zillia games. Then we got the Tales of Symphonia HD collection. So we were getting Tales games. Like we were
Terrible
getting
port.
them. Yeah, we were getting them at a steady clip there. But then, like, I felt like you had to again go dig it in the dirt and like reach for stuff that you probably wouldn't have played. Like Eternal Sonata, great game. I probably would have never played it had there been other options. I feel like a game I remember when I had a 360, because that was when you were really hurt for the JRPGs. But like you hear the same name, Blue Dragon, which I didn't like. Uh,
You did like Blue Dragon.
Not really. Enchanted Arms, I did not like. Remember that fucking turd.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but then like a game like Infinite Undiscovery, weird game. I've heard
All
mixed
right.
things on it.
So I have. How long are you trying to record tonight?
Uh, I
How
mean,
much longer you got?
we can go about 30 minutes. Sound good?
All right. I have The Gamers, which is a terrible website, but they ranked the 20 best JRPGs of the PS3 era. Let's go
Okay.
down this.
All
All
right,
right.
let's get this list.
At number 20, we have Enchanted Arms. That was my
That's
five.
not. That doesn't bode well.
At number 19, we have Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory. Now, granted, I've never played the Hyperdimension Neptunia games. I've always thought their take on the console wars was like kind of interesting, but they're too
They're too
they're
weeby for me,
too
man. I can't.
yeah they're too body pillow for me. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Now
we'll leave
here's a
that
game.
opinion to a certain friend of ours who's an expert in that.
Here's a game that I don't think I've ever heard of. Trinity Universe.
Never heard of that.
It's a crossover between the Atelier and Disgaea franchises.
Oh God.
That game has to be extremely rare.
Yeah,
It's a
never heard of
serviceable
that.
turn-based JRPG that has a cool setting, putting content, and likable protagonists.
Yeah, nope, never heard of
Huh.
that.
Number
Uh huh.
17, the Guided Fate Paradox.
Who?
Ever heard of that? I've heard of it. I never.
Never heard of that.
But
Nope.
no, it's a strategy game. Number 16, Arna Surge, Ode to an Unborn Star. I've always
What
wanted to play this.
the fuck? What? I ain't heard of that.
Yeah, this came out after the PS4 launch. This came out on PS3.
Oh, late life
Yep.
RPG. That one's
And
probably gonna be a dime piece.
it had really cool cover art, and I always wanted to play it. But at the time it came out, I was already on the PS4. So
Yeah.
at number 15, we have White Knight Chronicles 2.
Not great.
The thing that I think is cool about White Knight Chronicles 2 is that they added in White Knight Chronicles 1 with it. I don't know if you knew this or not.
Yeah.
And it was an updated version. Number 14, we have Folklore.
That's a good game.
Yes.
I wouldn't consider it a
Yeah.
JRPG, but that's interesting.
13, Final Fantasy 13. That
Yeah,
was
that doesn't shock
clearly
me.
done. That was clearly done as a pun. That's not a coincidence. Number 12, Nier.
Okay, fair.
Now you've played Nier, right?
Yeah, I like Nier.
I think it's okay. Number 11, Atelier Esha. Now you know you're in deep shit when the Atelier games are ranking because Atelier games are trash.
I don't even know what the fuck they are.
They're like alchemy games
Ugh.
that have turn-based, like cutesy alchemy type games.
No.
It's what you would make a JRPG if you were aiming for the girls who like Sailor Moon.
Oh, okay.
Number 10 is Eternal Sonata. What do you think of Eternal Sonata?
Loved it. I really loved the game. It's.
Uh,
I wish it would update it. Like put an updated port out, but really a great game. The story's really good. Music's really good. It's a fun game. I really like it.
I agree. It's very unique as far as like
Yes.
turn-based go and whatnot.
And the story's kind of dark.
Number 9, Star Ocean. The top 10, Star Ocean: The Last Hope. Now,
That's fair.
I don't know
That's
if
fair.
I agree with you.
In the pantheon of RPGs, is it like it doesn't rank that high? No, but on PS3, I think it ranks that high.
Okay.
It's kind of like what's better than that, really. Like,
Well, I'll tell you what's better than that according to the gamer. At number 8, we have Fairy Fencer F.
I never played it.
It's disgustingly bad.
Yeah, never touched it.
Disgusting. I hate this game so much, Pedro. I am like, this is the game that I might hate more than any other game.
Wow.
Number 7, Disgaea D2, A Brighter Darkness.
I'm not a Disgaea guy.
Me either. They're just too ridiculous.
Yeah.
Number 6, Resonance of Fate.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
That's a hot fucking take, man.
Uh-huh.
Hey,
Number 5.
I would love to know what's so good about Resident of Fate. Like, it's not a good game.
Focusing on guns and set in a post-apocalyptic futuristic world, Resonance of Fate is nothing if not one of a kind, at least in the realm of JRPGs. While still turn-based, the battle system blends elements of real-time combat to create a more dynamic experience, albeit one that comes with a steep learning curve.
Yeah, that's not the mark of a good fucking game.
No.
Like I would love to know the numbers of how many people quit on the tutorial because I was definitely one of them.
Number 5, Tales of Xillia.
I I can't argue it. Like I would
Ooh,
struggle to. Oh
the
no.
franchise's best 7th generation offering. Uh, Tales of Xillia is not better than Tales of Berseria. I'm sorry, that's not. Number 4, Valkyria Chronicles, a game that our
That
once
game's good. That game's really good.
beloved Watson Thompson is a huge fan of.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan too. I like Valkyria Chronicles.
It's got
Great
a cool
game.
vibe to it. Number 3, Persona 5. Fuck off. All
That's a
right,
fucking layup. You can't do that.
that is a PS4 game. You
Yeah, this guy can
slimy
fuck.
scumbags.
This guy can fuck off. Who is that?
Yeah.
Like, who
All
did
right.
that?
Who is this? Let's get your name.
I need a name.
Mark Samet.
Yeah, that guy. Fuck right off, buddy.
Mark Samet, meet me in the ring.
You can't do that.
All right. What's the top 2 of this guy? This animals list. Number 2, Nino Kuni. Okay.
Fair. All right. Fair.
Number 1, Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2.
Wow. That I
Uh,
mean, yeah. I would probably rank Nino Kuni ahead of that one, but if you're asking me, I think
what would
probably if I'm being objective, Nino Kuni's probably the PS3's best game. Um, like as far as RPGs go, but I just
dude?
think
I don't
like
know.
quality level,
Oh,
animation level.
I don't know. If you're gonna put Persona 5 on this list, you put it at number 1 first of all.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's clearly the best JRPG on PS3. But don't put Persona 5 on this list just because they got it to run on a PS3. You guys are
Hmm.
fucking sleazeballs, all right?
Yeah,
Also, don't say Tales of Xillia is the best 7th generation Tales game because Tales of Berseria blows it out of the water. And you can't
yeah.
just. All right. Also, Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2, putting them in a combined package, I think, is a cheat.
That's fucked.
It's a cheap
Yeah,
move
yeah.
because, let's be honest,
Two is better than one, like by far.
if if it wasn't for the last 5 hours of Trails of Cold Steel 1, we would have both been out of that franchise, right?
Yeah,
That's fair to say.
yeah, yeah. I would have been out.
Because in order to get anywhere in Trails of Cold Steel, in the entire franchise, you have to slog through 80 hours of nonsense.
Yeah,
And that sucks.
agreed.
Because, well, we'll talk about it when it comes to our Trails of Cold Steel like retrospective, because I got a
Yes.
lot to say. I got a lot to say about Trails of Cold
Yeah,
Steel
you
1.
got to finish. Definitely got to finish four, buddy, and then we'll get into that. So in putting a bow on this, because I think that was definitely a nice rabbit hole we just went down. I like that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, definitely. That's why I say it's definitely the weirdest generation because, like I said, the lack of JRPGs, the weird focus on multiplayer, and Sony just trying to get it right over and over and over and over again and failing consistently, is kind of a little scary because I feel like they're heading towards that direction now. But uh, yeah, it's just I just felt like we go through these weird stretches of gaming, and now I think we're about to hit another one where we're not really we haven't I feel like we haven't had a reason to have PS5s and Series X because like I'm still playing PS4 games. Like I'm still playing PS4 games. And that doesn't bode well because like when people go, "Yo, how's the 5? Is it worth it?" I go, "Well, not really. Like what's there to fucking like yeah, buy one so you can play the Quarry?" Like what like, it's just it's a hard sell. So I'm just wondering if we're going to be on this weird era of gaming where we're like, you're going to have to be like, oh, focusing on the backlog and oh, not really much coming out. And then like when stuff does come out, fans shit all over it. Like I feel like the new God of War, like I'm sure it's going to be good, but people are going to fucking shit all over that game.
You think so?
Yeah, because people are dunking on Horizon for no reason.
I
But
think
I also think
I
Sony like we need to stop making. Sorry to cut you off, but we need to stop making the third person action games. Like that's all they do.
Well, they're the best at it, right?
Yeah, I agree.
They're the best at it. So I don't want them to stop making it. But here's what I will say: if Horizon was exclusively a PS5 game, I think it would have gotten a lot less shit. What else in the generation have we crossed over this long? You know,
We haven't.
and this is ridiculous. The PS5 has no. I have no reason to buy a PS5.
Nope.
Zero. Because even God of War is coming out for PS4, right?
Yeah.
And that comes out this fall, right?
Yep. November 11th, buddy.
November 9th.
Oh yeah, November 9th.
You need to take the wrong days off. It
No, I think that's still veteran. What is that? A Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. Excuse me.
So
Since
I'm
when are we
basically.
doing? No wait. No wait. Hold on.
I thought it was coming out Veterans Day weekend, but I could definitely be wrong.
Because when you actually open the page, it says November 11th, but on the initial it says November 9th.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on. But November 11th, you are correct. Sorry.
Yeah, that's Veterans Day weekend, 3-day weekend for this guy. So that's what I'll be doing.
So okay. So I was actually just thinking about what you said earlier, and here's the thing: you can't like these companies have to realize at some point you cannot use Twitter as a pool for if your game is successful or not, because there are millions of people that play God of War, right?
Yep.
When you have a sample size that large, it is inevitable that you are going to get thousands of people who are mad about something, right?
Yeah.
That is completely inevitable. And I was actually thinking about this with like fan bases too, because like influencers get so bummed out when there's like a few hundred people or something that are mad at them, and it's like no, you have hundreds of thousands of fans, and there's a couple hundred that are upset about something
The loud minority.
because you have such a diverse set of people, right? And then you have Twitter, which allows access to anybody at any point in time. Twitter is the bane of my existence, and Twitter has had such a massive cultural impact that is negative, I think, to society.
Oh god, yeah.
And it's a real shame, man. It's a real shame when the guys at Sony Santa Monica are like speaking about how people are mad that like the boat animations are the same. Well, no one's actually mad about that, dude. You have like a few people that are mad about that in the grand scheme of things. Like these guys see these mean tweets and they're like, oh no, like people are upset about this. Well, you can't be. Like you
Right.
have to realize that there's millions of people that are gonna play your game that are gonna be like, this is gorgeous. You know?
Yeah, no, I can't wait for it, but I agree. Like, I just feel like people are gonna shit on that game, or when people are like fucking review bombing games for some reason. Like, what the like? I don't get what the hell we're doing, and it just, I don't know. Like, if a game's bad, I would say then, hey, the game is bad. Like, we need to take this company to task. But like, if a game is good and like you're just shitting on it just to be a part of the narrative or be part of the loud minority, just to like, I just think you're a dick. But also same token, like I also don't base my gaming off the opinions of others. Like I kind of do what I want, but not. I feel like we as a gaming community, we lack holding each other accountable when we do these things. Like nobody in the gaming community, like yeah, some people call it out, like what the fuck, but like as a collective, we're really good at cancel culture and oh you need to think this way or oh you need to treat this person this way, but when it's the community doing it to somebody else, we don't really we don't hold that person accountable. Like nobody, how come we don't have these fucking pitchforks for these guys who like send these death threats or send these fucked up DMs to these developers? Like give us their names. I want a name, give me a name.
Yeah, they always block out the name, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, expose these fools. Like drop their whole name. Let's,
Yeah, put their full government out there, like,
yep.
because, and that's the thing we don't do. Like these guys who fucking, um, who just pull this shit, and there are some examples of it. Like if you, I don't know how into the gaming YouTube you are, But do you remember Pro Jared? What happened with him?
Oh yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
like that was an example where like he got fucking roasted for everything he did, and did it kill his channel? No, he's still making content. Like he'll be fine, but like he needed to be taken to task for being a fucking slimy fuck.
Yeah.
You know, or same like Philip Mewson, who like the guy who plagiarized, where we're like, hey, dude, fuck you, don't see other people's work, and
Oh my god,
he
dude. His interview with Colin
is
Moriarty is
fucking
so
beautiful.
awesome.
Yes, beautiful. I love it. But you know,
Colin's just like,
you don't belong in the game industry, yeah. But he's
yeah,
still making content. Like, you know, is he going to be as successful as he probably would have been had he not plagiarized? No, but like, there's clearly an audience for him, and he's getting sponsored, and like, so he's able to carve out a chunk for himself. But then, like, if you remember, a guy like Vincent Janito who thought like, oh, I need to be out of the game industry, and I have a massive problem with Vince because I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to be a little bit controversial. He's a simp. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, like, and and I get what he was trying to do. You gotta play nice and blah blah blah. But like, you didn't really do anything wrong, dude. Like, and it's just like he thought like, oh, I'm just lucky to be in the gaming industry and back. Where I'm like, this guy Philip Mewson fucking plagiarized and he makes videos. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
So it's just so again, I just feel like as a community, we struggle to hold ourselves accountable the right ways. So, do you have anything
Also,
to say? Go
I got one thing to say about Vincent Janito.
ahead.
None of the community cared about him. The only people that cared about what happened with Vincent Janito was his own peers. That was it.
Yeah, nobody gave a fuck.
I completely
Nobody
forgot that
gave a
even
fuck.
happened when that
Yep.
interview happened.
Side note: what the fuck happened to Marty Sleva? Who's back apparently now?
Um,
We know the rumors, but like, holy fuck.
I I won't say anything because I know someone that knows but won't tell me.
Really?
Yes,
Really? Oh, that's
yes,
interesting.
yes.
We'll have to discuss that off air. But yeah, like, I just think like the gaming industry is very wild about that stuff. So, moving on, and to put this show to bed, and just to put the nice bow on everything. I want to talk about one last thing and see your thoughts on it. So, Tactics Ogre is getting a remake, correct?
Yes.
So, we're back into the retro gaming space. Did
Are
you
we?
know
Oh,
we
I see what
are?
you're saying. Okay.
Did you know that there just was a Saturn English patch for this game?
I did not know that.
And I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I can go buy a ROM of this and like play it on my Saturn." And then I saw that there's a remake coming out. I'm like, "Oh, well, I guess I'll just play the remake." So, how do you feel about these fan run projects? Have you ever partaken in a fan translation or played a
I
fan translation game?
I have not, but I respect them a lot because well, I played one fan game and it's called Force Combat. It's a really good PC Star Wars fighting game,
Okay.
and it's like really good. I still have it, and I refuse to delete it because it's hard to find on the internet because the guy got a cease and desist. Um, but he did a really good job on that, and it's funny because it's like this is the game we kind of always wanted with Star Wars, but they refused to give us, right? I did that. I always wanted to play Crimson Echoes, Chrono Trigger
The
Crimson Echoes.
Chrono Trigger, yeah.
Yeah, never got around to it. But that was always on my radar. Um, the thing is that when you see fan translations and stuff like that for games, there's clearly a large desire for it. Usually, it's to fulfill a void in the community, and I think that's really important. The problem is that these companies see it and then they're like, "Oh shit, we got to jump on that before they finish," right? And then usually
Yeah.
they'll send a cease and desist and then make their own version of it, which half the time isn't as good. But one thing I will respect, one thing I do love, is that this English patch came out for the Falcom Trail series, and apparently They're not doing anything about it. They're just letting it go. And then if you want to play the official English version, you can wait for it. But there's apparently like the English patch dropped
Yeah,
for the games,
for
and you can just get it.
so here's the cool thing about Falcom. So you know the trails into Zero and trails into Azure.
Hmm.
So the people who did the translations, the fan translations for those games, Falcom actually hired them to help localize the rest of the Trails games into the states.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, I agree because I'm like, you know what, that's smart. Like you got people who are fucking passionate enough about this, who are doing this for free. So now you're gonna pay them to fucking do it. Like that translation is gonna be chef's kiss. So I'm excited for that. But when I see these translations, I'm a big proponent of them. I buy them. So like famously, I've bought Police Knots when that got translated to the Saturn. The fan translation, loved the game. Uh, Shining Force 3, I have the complete scenario that was translated. Dragon Force 2, I have that was translated. The Lunar games I have on the Saturn. Somebody took the time to like port the PS1 port that was translated. Trying to think what Soccer Wars. I have a couple of them, but I think they're important because it keeps these games relevant and keeps these games fresh, and it just shows the level of passion that really is in these communities. Like I know, like earlier in the show, we dubbed it the underbelly, but like some of the stuff they come up with is brilliant. Where I'm a part of this Discord called English Translations. It's under the Sega Saturn banner off of one of the Facebook pages I follow, and they're always working on something. So that's why I learned about this Tactics Ogre. They're working on translating the first Devil Survivor game. They're working on translating a couple more mech games. So I just think like there's vibrant communities in every sect of gaming, and it blows my fucking mind. But what would be one game that's on the radar that you've always wanted to play that has yet to come to the states that you would like to be translated, sir?
That's a hard one. I don't know. I don't know that there is one for me because I feel like I've gotten everything I wanted, especially in the last few years. Um, did Mother 3 ever come out?
No, but there's an English translation for it.
Yeah, Mother 3 would be one of them. Because I've always wanted to jump into the Earthbound series, but the fact that they
You
weren't
don't
all
have the third game,
translated,
yeah.
yeah, it really, really stuck out to me. I don't know. I feel like there's not one for me. Is there one for you?
There's a couple. There's two Yakuza games that are based on like the Edo era in
Oh
Japan.
yeah,
I I need those, and I feel like with how fucking popular Yakuza is right now, how these games have not gotten translated
I
blows
thought they
my
got
mind.
announced. I thought they got announced,
No,
didn't
they
they?
never brought them over. They're on PS4. They are literally already on PS4. They just need translations.
I could have swore they got.
Nope.
Um, what else?
Then for me, this is going to be a more obscure game. I don't know if you'll have ever heard of it. Far East of Eden. So it's
I am familiar with this game.
wow. Look at you.
Yes.
So there is one on the Saturn called the Fourth Apocalypse, and it's kind of like Earthbound in a way, but like when you get into battles, they're like anime cutscenes. It's like really cool anime sprites drawn. And I think that game would be really fun to have translated because it's another JRPG, and like the Saturn is very, they're still starving for the RPGs on that console, and it
Hmm.
sucks because like games like we talked about in a couple episodes, games are famously stranded on that system, like stranded. So the only way for some of these games to have like relevance or life is to get like fan translations, so people can play them on their computers or down burn them to a CD so they play them on their consoles. And it just sucks because like I'm a big proponent of preserving games. Like
Hmm.
you got to preserve the art, and because you don't want to lose these games to time. Because like could you imagine like if we couldn't play certain games anymore because like oh we lost the code fuck. So it's just like I feel like everyone when you get something, put it on the internet, dump the fucking code on the internet,
Hmm.
just so we always have it. But yeah, like I just I don't know. I'm a big fan of these fan projects. That's also how I got into a lot of the old school fucking kick you in the nuts SMT games. Where did I ever tell you the story where SMT, the Old Testament, which is also called Kuyaku Tensei for all you purists out there, uh, that game finally broke me. It was after I moved out. I was playing it because I still didn't have internet at my apartment yet, and I was like, fuck them all. I can't get on anything. I'm gonna hook up the SNES Mini and bang it out. I got into a dungeon area that like enemies could inflict a status that they would de-level you.
No, that is an unforgivable sin. That is unforgivable.
It broke me like because I got de-leveled and then I couldn't, like, I wasn't strong enough to hold the sword I had, and like, and then I died, and it was like a 50% Maka penalty, and I had like over 1 million, so I just lost 500,000 Maka. I didn't have enough to revive my demons. I'm like, you win, you fucking win, and I haven't played it since.
Absolutely not. That is an unforgivable sin.
Dude, it's
God.
the worst thing. Like the enemy casts some attack, and they're like, Nakajima lost the level. I'm like, and I thought it was like a typo. Like, no. And yeah, you get de-leveled, buddy.
Is it
De-fucking leveled.
is it permanent?
Yeah,
That's disgusting. That's animalistic, even.
yeah. That's Byzantine-esque, if you will.
Yeah.
Uh,
Unforgivable.
so yeah, that just like, we could have a whole deep dive into old school SMT and the pain. Um, but that's for another show.
I'll never
Do you-
forget, dude. I'll never forget when I was watching you play that old school SMT game. Which one was it? Strange Journeys?
no, that's Kuyaku. You are watching me play that one. That's
And I
the
was
Old
like,
Testament.
dude, this isn't good. And you're like, no, like I'm enjoying this, and I'm like, no, you're not. You're not. This is the same like hallway texture for hours now.
Yeah, but dude, something about dungeon crawlers just fucking scratch a certain itch for me. I don't know why. I'm addicted to them. I love them.
I
Like,
I
you give me a
understand.
first-person dungeon crawler, but I don't like Etrian Odyssey. Don't give me that bullshit.
Don't give me that.
Um, yeah, but like if
Or
you,
also don't give us that weird Persona Q nonsense.
that game sucks. Yeah, I don't like that. That's basically Etrian Odyssey.
Yes.
Um, but if you give me like Shining in the Darkness or Shining the Holy Ark or old school SMT or even like or even actually I think that's it. But those games, like you give me that shit and I'm fucking all over it, all over it. But do you have anything else to discuss, sir? I think it's been a banging show. I think
I don't.
now's
I've
the
had a
time to put her to
blast.
bed.
All right,
Yeah,
let's put her under misery.
it's almost 2 hours, buddy.
Yep.
So we are still uploading things to YouTube. I'm still trying to work out a schedule where I can start posting some content to that main channel. I actually changed my personal channel YouTube name, so so the way it's going to work is, we're going to post some content to the main channel. I also want to post some side content to my channel. I've redubbed that channel Alpha Nerd Ace because
Ooh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
like it.
Yeah, I'm on brand now, buddy.
All
And
right.
on my channel, you're gonna start seeing videos of just random thoughts, short clips. But on the main channel, you will have the Alpha Nerds branded goodness. So definitely give us a follow and a subscribe there, and definitely check out our podcast. What services are we on again, sir?
We are on YouTube and Podbean.
Hell yeah! So give us a follow there. Definitely give us some feedback. Leave us some comments. And I've made a decision. We're not having a Twitter. We're just gonna go full Instagram.
I'm
Just
in there. I'm all
yeah.
about it.
So excuse me. We will definitely roll that information out. But it's been a great show, Seth. I hope you've been well. I hope you feel better, sir.
Thanks, buddy. Sorry if I've been off this week. I tried to pull it together, but
Yeah.
I am terrible.
So there's gonna be Jordan in the flu game. Then there's gonna be Seth in the sick podcast. Same events. So
Yes.
well, it's been a great show, everyone. Thank you for listening. Catch you next time.
Yep. Later, everybody.